So, very good morning to all of you. It's wonderful to see you all on this beautiful Saturday morning. And a very warm welcome to the first edition of the Coffee with Vythee sessions. So, the objective of this particular session is basically to focus on the various tools and technologies that are available for our teachers and trainers, how to use them, how to effectively use them in various contexts, whether it is classroom or whether it is online, how exactly to go about using them and making the most out of it. So the format of these sessions will be like I will take one tool, I will go through the entire process of that tool, how to set it up, how to sign up for it, how to get it installed, how to use the various features of the tool, in what context it can be used. And after that, I will have time open for all of you to ask your questions. So this is how the format will go. And each edition of Coffee with Vythee, I will take a new tool and we will explore the tool together. So this is how the format is going to be. And today we are looking at a tool called Padlet. So before we actually go into the tool itself, I would just like to have a little bit of a conversation with you to understand what is your perception on a couple of things. One is uh, what is your perception of blended learning and hybrid learning? So can any one of you like tell me what do you think about blended learning versus hybrid learning? Anyone would like to try?
Blended learning is planned learning.
Okay.
Which is another one you said.
Sure. No, thank you, Nike sir. So, blended learning essentially is a blend of different styles of learning. So, it is essentially a blend of both a classroom based learning and a online based learning, or it could be a tool or anything like that. It's essentially a mix of both. A hybrid learning is where you have some sessions happening exclusively in the classroom and some sessions happening exclusively online. So, for example, the kind of classes that our school students are going through right now, where some classes are being conducted in person, some classes are happening through online, through Google Classroom and things like that. That is an example for a hybrid classroom. Whereas if you are looking at a blended learning is a singular approach which integrates the aspects of different styles. That is like a classroom to a tool to a virtual. It's an amalgamation of all these techniques to create a learning experience for your learners. So that is the difference between a blended learning and a hybrid learning. So where does this particular tool fit into the scheme of things? So when you look at this tool Padlet, this tool is actually a collaborative tool for one, and number two, it can also be used for creating activities for your learners. And these activities are not only restricted to online training, you can also use this technique in your in-person trainings and in classrooms also. Right, so this is a very simple, very interactive tool. So what we will do is I will show you what the tool looks like, how to sign up, and of course there are free as well as paid versions of this particular tool. So I will show you what the options are. We will begin with that, and then we will start exploring the tool. So before we actually go into the tool, are there any questions on whatever we just discussed? Okay. So I guess I have been very clear. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll start looking at the tool.
Sir, good morning, sir. Chidambaram joined just now.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. So we were just discussing about hybrid and blended learning. So now we are actually going to start looking at the tool Padlet. So to access the tool, we have to go to padlet.com. It's spelled Padlet. So padlet.com is the name.
That's a name. Padlet. I could not find in dictionary the Padlet.
It is the name of the tool, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Padlet is the tool that we are going to look at today. So this is how the homepage of the Padlet website looks like. So this is, as you can see, it is an online tool that you can use. So the first step is obviously you'll have to sign up for the tool. So there is no download, there's no installation required for this tool. It is an online tool. You'll have to log into padlet.com online and you can create the various learning pieces, the learning experiences, or we call it Padlets for our learners right on the website itself. So there is no download or installation. So the first step is to sign up. So it just looks upfront, sign up for free. You just have to select that. So you will get different options to sign up. So if you are an organization, you can put your organization email and sign up. But if you are going to be an independent trainer and you're going to use it for your own purpose, you can sign up with your Google account because that is essentially the quickest way to do it. And when you are signing up with your actual email address, you don't have to give your email password. You can create a different password for yourself and log in. But if you are going to use your Google account, you will anyway be signed in through your Google account and that will be taken for this login. So I will just demonstrate how to sign up with Google. So you just have to click sign up with Google. So it will show you the list of accounts that you have. So I'm just going to select one account. Okay. So all you'll have to do is click the account that you are logged in. It will automatically sign you up. There are no additional steps or anything. It will take your name from there, your information, and it will sign up. So here it is going to ask you two options. One is Pro and one is Basic. So the Pro version is actually not very expensive. It's around 120 rupees a month. But in my experience, I have found that if you are an independent trainer and if you are running a more of a small scale kind of a setup with just you or probably you and you're associated with 2 or 3 other people, you can still manage with the basic account. So what is the difference between a basic and a pro? There are only 2 main differences. One is in the basic version, you will be allowed only to create 3 Padlets. So after that, what you'll have to do is you'll have to delete an existing Padlet and add a new Padlet. So that is the one restriction that is there. And the second restriction that you have is Padlet allows your end users, your students, to upload files. So it is also in the realm of allowing your users to create content. So for example, let's say you have given an assignment to your participants and you want them to share their opinions or share their thoughts. They can just take their camera, do a selfie video of whatever their thoughts are and upload it to Padlet. So in the free version, you have a restriction of 20 MB per file. So if you have like 25 students, each student can upload all files they want. The only thing is each file, the file size cap is 20 MB. Whereas if you go for a paid version, you will have a 500 megabyte cap on those files. So that's the only difference. And if you are a typical Padlet user, because from my perspective, I have used Padlet from an individual as well as an organizational capacity. I find that whatever we do in basic is more than enough, because the advantage that Padlet offers is when a Padlet or when a wall is created and once all of the assets and whatever text and all that your learners post, you also have the ability to export that Padlet into an image or a PDF. So whatever your class is going to create for you, that information is not lost. You can still download it as a PDF or an image and share it with your students or keep it for your records. Then you can delete it and create a fresh Padlet. But if you don't want to do that and you want to keep all your Padlets alive, you will have to go for the pro version, which is 120 rupees a month or a little over 1,000 rupees per year. So this is actually, even from a cost perspective, it is a very effective, it's very cost effective tool. If you are going to be using it at a professional level and you want a large team to use it and you want to create multiple Padlets, the pro version will be good. But otherwise, from an individual perspective, if you are doing it only for your class, and suppose let's say you conduct 2 or 3 programs and you're doing it only for them, the basic version should be more than enough for you. So I'm going to go with the basic version now, because otherwise every other feature in Padlet is common for basic and pro. There is no restriction on the number of types of Padlets or anything like that. It's the same across. These are the only two differences. So I'm going to start with the basic version. Just click continue. So it will say welcome to Padlet. Your basic membership is done, and hit let's go. So once you have hit let's go, this window opens up. So this is your home dashboard of Padlet. So what Padlet has done is it has created a sample Padlet for you. So you don't need to have a sample Padlet. So you can just select these 3 dots and you can delete this Padlet, because what we are going to do is, when I say Padlet, there are different types of Padlets that you can create for different scenarios. So today we will be looking at all those different types of Padlets where you can use. So we don't want this test Padlet. So I'm going to use these 3 dots and click delete. So there is one additional safety that is there in Padlet. So let's say you selected a Padlet and accidentally, you selected a Padlet that is in use and you accidentally deleted it. This is a stopgap that comes up where it will ask you, are you really sure? And it will ask you to enter this code. So you will have to physically enter a code in order to delete a Padlet. So if you right click this and instead of archive or copy, you accidentally hit delete, this thing will pop up. And you will have to enter this number. I'll have to type 1883 in my Padlet and click delete. Only then that Padlet will get deleted. Okay. So this is how we enter into the dashboard of Padlet. Are there any questions before we go into the types?
So good morning, sir. Vanakkam. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's nice of you to join this late in the evening.
Sir, I forgot. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Vythee.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
God bless
One
you.
question, sir. I was a bit late in
I also
joining.
forgot, sir. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I thought,
What is the use of this Padlet, sir?
So, sorry, sir. Could you please repeat the question?
I thought I will wish you personally, so I didn't send any message. So sorry, I forgot. Very, very happy birthday, Vythee.
Thank you, sir.
God
Thanks
bless
a lot.
you. God bless you.
Thank you. Yes, Shyam, sir.
What is the use of this Padlet, sir?
So this Padlet is essentially a tool that you can use for engaging with your audience, whether it is online or offline or blended or hybrid, whichever scenario you are. You can create activities, you can create assignments for your learners with this Padlet. It's a very light tool and it helps in keeping your learner engagement up. And Padlet also has this opportunity where it allows your learners to create content. They can create content and upload.
We can give them assignment and ask them to do it on Padlet.
Yes. So for example, let's just say that you are attending a particular program and you have a homework, or let's say you have a group and your group has been given an activity to perform, right? And you want to all collaborate or do some pre-work before you get into a group meeting. So what you can do is, all you have to do is create a Padlet for them and give a Padlet link to them. So what they can do is, they can go in, assemble, put in their ideas. They can use Padlet for brainstorming. You can use Padlet for sort of creating a continuous learning experience, like a Twitter page or a Facebook wall. You can do things like that. You can create timelines. There are a lot of things that you can do with Padlet. There are different types of Padlet that you can use in different scenarios. So I will be going into each type of Padlet and I will show you what are all the scenarios that are possible.
So one last question, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, I'm not going to be a trainer. In which way I can utilize this in my Kangen promotion?
You can actually create a social learning experience for your existing customers and new customers. For example, okay, I will show you one example. I'll show you the first example, and I'll show you how you can utilize it in your thing, because there are some 7 or 8 types of Padlets that are available. So I will take, I think one of them will work for you. So I will just do a demonstration and I'll show you how you can use this.
Very well, very well. Dear. Continue, please. I don't want to waste your time.
Sure, sure. So any other questions before, or shall we get into the types of Padlets? Okay. Okay, I take that as a no and we'll get into the types. So in order to create Padlets, you at the top right corner, you have a button called Make a Padlet. So you just have to select Make a Padlet. And 1 second.
Anilji, please mute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm muting. No problem. Yeah, okay. So here, when you select Make a Padlet, you will get this particular window. So you have 7 types of Padlets that can be created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open each one of these Padlets. I'll show you how it looks like, how to configure and set up a Padlet, how to share, and give you some examples of scenarios where you can use it. So the first one is called a wall template. So I'm selecting that. So when you select wall, automatically a default will open up for you. It will look like this. And on the right, you get a menu, which can be used to configure your Padlet. So here you can give a title, you can give a description for your Padlet. You can add an icon. You have the link that you can share with your students. You can change the appearance and do a lot of things. So let me go ahead and set up this particular Padlet. So for this Padlet, I'm going to give a real example that I used for one of my clients. So what we did was, in that particular client, it was a 10-week program. And in that 10-week program, at the end of 4 weeks, so the audience, we had about 200 participants in that program. So what we did was we broke them down into 8 cohorts. And these 8 cohorts had to learn among themselves. They had a lot of practice assignments. They had a lot of group activities and things like that. So at the end of week 4, we created a small activity called the Wall of Gratitude. So a Wall of Gratitude is essentially a space where you just go and post a note, just select one person from your cohort and give them a small word of appreciation, like, I recognize this person for really being helpful in my learning journey for the past 4 weeks. So we created something like that, and that actually went off very well. And in fact, in that particular case, we were also in for a pleasant surprise, because some 4 or 5 people had thanked us, the program creators, for creating a program like this for them. So it was a very interesting activity that happened. So I'm going to just replicate that for you to show how you can use it. So here you can change the title, say Wall of Gratitude. Okay. And say, you can give a description, share a few words about a person who has made a positive impact on you in this program, right? So you can give a description, and here you can also give an icon. So it will look like a thumbnail. So let's say Wall of Gratitude, we pick this one. So an icon like this will come up saying Wall of Gratitude, and the description pops up. So we just go back here. So this address is where this is the link that you'll be sharing with your participants. And this wallpaper you can change. So right now it looks like a cement wall. You can change it to anything you want. Suppose if you want solid colors like this, you can go for solid colors. Or you just want white or gray, you can go for any colors. If you want a gradient kind of an approach, you can do something like this. You will get nice gradients. And you also have textures and patterns. Suppose, let's say you actually want a brick wall for your Wall of Gratitude, you can do something like this. Or if you are not happy with any of the things that Padlet is providing, you can add your own, or you can also select pictures. So Padlet has a set of pictures that you can use as background. Or if you are not interested in any of this and you have your own image, let's say that you are probably, so this is where I would like to address Mr. Shyam's question on how he can use it. So sir, in your case, what you can do is you can create a wall of gratitude for your current customers, have your branding uploaded as the background over here. So you just have to go here, select whatever image that you want. So you can take a live photo, or you can upload any image that is there in your machine. So you can put it over there and ask your customers to post on this wall. And you can use this wall to show to other people as to this is what my current customers are saying. And you can also get feedback. So you make a presentation, you get feedback from the person who has listened to you. So you just give them a link and say, just put a few words over here. So this will become a wall that will continue to grow, because there's no restriction on how many posts a wall can take. It can take as many posts as you want it to take. So this can be used in that manner also. So in this particular case, as a trainer, if you are creating something like this, so you can do things like this. Or if you want to draw something, you can draw. So let's say just something like this. I mean, I'm just drawing some random thing. You just hit save. That will become your background. So you can do whatever you want. You can go to any level of extent to customize it. So right now I'm just going with a very simple brick wall. So now you can also select a color scheme, whether you want a light scheme or a dark scheme. You can select a font. You will have, with the number font is actually very restricted. You just have some 3 or 4 options available, but whichever one you want, you can select one. And here we have the post settings. So this is something that you will have to watch for, because this is going to define the user experience that you are providing for your audience. So first one is attribution. So attribution, if you turn it on, it means that the author of a post, so whoever is coming and posting on the wall, must provide who they are, must identify who they are and give their name. If this is turned off, this means that users will be able to post anonymously. And new post position. So this is where you get to select the kind of visual experience that you are creating for your learners. So when people are adding new posts, do you want those new posts to come up in the front, or do you want only the first post to come in the front and you just want it to build one after the other? So the new post stay at the back and the old post stay at the front, or vice versa. So whichever one you want to do, you can do. And like a social media platform, you also have the ability to turn on comments. So let's say that we are creating a wall of gratitude, and I am thanking, let's say, Mr. Naik, telling him that the experience that, let's say that I'm giving him a feedback saying, the experience that you shared about your days in the Navy has really helped me improve certain qualities in myself. Suppose if I say something like that, if I turn on comments, people from the cohort will be able to add more points to that. Mr. Nayak will be able to respond to that. So those things can be done. And you can also have reactions, like how you have those like buttons. So you have different options. So you have like buttons. You can upvote or downvote a particular comment. You can give stars. You can also give grades. So depending on your particular situation, wherever you are going to be using this, you can select whichever option you want. So let's say that you are creating a competition of which post gets the most number of votes, which is the best vote, which is the best post. So people can post and vote for themselves or other posts, something like that. So you can create a lot of different experiences. But if you don't want this, you can just select none and that feature will not appear. So I will just select like post for this particular instance so that we are able to see what happens. This is another important aspect, content filtering. So depending on the maturity level of your audience, suppose you are working with an audience who you are not exactly familiar with, or if it's a very large audience that you cannot really control, you can turn this on, which says require approval, which means that when they create a post on this Padlet, it will come to you for approval. You can read through it. and approve it, and only then it will go on the wall. So the advantage is you will be able to control the language that is being put on the board. But the only disadvantage is you will have to be there and looking at all the screening, all these posts constantly, because one of the things that typically happens, and a mistake that a lot of people make, is they turn on the approval function and they will check their post only like once or twice a day. So when people are eagerly posting something and when they see that their post is not appearing immediately, they get a little demotivated. So if you are having this require approval turned on, make sure that you are constantly checking on the Padlet so that you are able to approve posts much quicker, so that the user experience is much better. But if you are familiar with your audience and you know who exactly is who and how they are generally likely to post, and if you have that level of trust with them, you can turn this off. And the next one is, again, this is something that we use for a younger audience, where if we have some members of the audience who are used to using profanity in a very casual way, Padlet has this ability to screen those posts and identify profane words and replace them with like a sort of a censor kind of a thing. They just put a smiley over there and things like that. If you want, you can enable this, but again, it depends on your individual case. So this is how it is. So map domain will come only if you have a website and you're going to post it to a website. Otherwise, that is not required. So if you are going to be using this for a regular training program of yours, this area is something that you don't have to worry about. So once this is all set up, just click next. Your Padlet is now ready. Okay. So once your Padlet is ready, if you have to share it with your participants, you will have to go to the top right corner. So you have the share button. So when it comes to sharing, there are different ways in which you can share a Padlet. So you can invite members, which you have people who are already part of Padlet, who are Padlet members. You can ask them to come and come and be part of your Padlet. Or you can also change the privacy of your setting. For example, let's say that you are creating a Padlet for your individual class and you want to keep it private. You can do that by selecting this option so that it is hidden from the public. It's only available to people whom you are able to share. You can also password protect your Padlet. So suppose if you give the link to a person, they will have to know the password in order to log in. And then this is available only for members of Padlet. So people who are signed up with Padlet will only be able to see it. And of course, you can also keep it as a secret Padlet. So you will have complete control over who gets to see and who doesn't get to see. Or if you are creating a Padlet which is open to general public, let's say you are conducting a massive webinar, let's say about 500-600 people are attending and it's a topic of public interest, you can convert it to public and ask your attendees to go and share this Padlet with their contacts, so that you get some additional insights and some additional inputs and information on whatever topic that is being discussed. So in that situation, we will set it as a public Padlet. So right now I'm going to select it a private Padlet and hit save. So we're coming back. So now is where you will have the option of sharing. So whether you want to copy the link to a clipboard. So when you copy the link to a clipboard, you can just paste it on whichever platform. If you're doing it on a Zoom, you can do it. Or if you are going to conduct this in your classroom and you would like to share this link on WhatsApp with everyone, you can go ahead and share it on WhatsApp. They'll be able to open it on their mobile. And so it really depends on which scenario you want. You can post this link wherever you want to. Embed is this particular one. So embed code is something that you use on blogs and websites. So let's say that you have a dedicated website for your particular program and you have a Padlet that you want to post at the public and you want people to come in and sort of add things. So let's say that you are conducting a program and you are creating a wall of feedback for your program. You can embed this code on your website and give that web link to your participants so they can go to your website and type in their comments directly. So it's like getting direct testimonials from your end users, and it gets updated live on your website. So in order to do that, you'll need the embed code, so that in the back end of your website, you can paste this embed code, so that in the front end, this particular Padlet will appear directly on your website. It's not like you click and go to an external page. It will appear within the page of your website. So that is what an embed code is. And of course, you can share it in social media. You can show it on Google Classroom and all of that. So this is the share aspect. And of course, like I was telling you earlier, you have the option of exporting your Padlets. So let's say that you have a Padlet and you have about 30-40 learners, and they've spent a week and they've created a very beautiful Padlet with a lot of points. So, but you are using a free account and you'll have to ultimately delete that Padlet. So you have the option of exporting it to any format you want. If you want to save it as an image or a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet, or if you want to directly print it on your printer, you can do all of that. Even in the free version, everything is supported. So you can export it and keep it for your reference or share it with your participants. So this is how the share function works in Padlet. So we have set up an initial Padlet. So now I want to go and start adding posts. So before I start adding posts, are there any questions to whatever we have seen so far?
So when you share this, will the party who's going to see, if he is not aware of this, how will they be able to use it, sir?
Okay, so that is where it's actually very, very simple. So to create a Padlet, it's just this plus button will appear. So you just click this plus, a pop-up will come. You'll have to fill whatever information there is, hit publish. That's it. It's very, very simple. And you can add a kind of an instruction saying that you'll have to click that, but it's very, very intuitive. So even when you look at the mobile device or anything like that, for them, this edit and all these things will not show up. For them, just this wall and this plus button will show up. So you select this, you just have to add whatever content you want and publish. That's it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All settings done once only, sir. Every time we use, we have to set the.
Yes, if you are creating a different Padlet, yes, you have to set it every time.
Okay. Same Padlet means no.
Same Padlet, you don't have to do anything. But the good thing about Padlet is, let's say you have set up your Padlet in a certain way, and people have started posting. Suppose if you want to go in and change the settings in the middle, you can definitely go in and do that.
But you need not set it every time.
No, not required.
Okay.
Yes. Once you have set it up, you can share this Padlet link how many ever times you want, whenever you want. The settings will remain the same. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, very well, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So we will continue with creating posts. So to create posts, it's very, very simple. You just have to click the plus button at the right bottom, and this particular window will pop up. So in your post, when you are creating a Padlet post, you just have to create a subject. So let's say this is wall of gratitude. So I can say, thank you.
Where that plus this one came, sir? Just I wanted.
Sorry. Yeah, sure. So I'll do it again. So you have this plus symbol over here. You mouse over, it will turn into a pencil. So you select this and this window will pop up.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That's it. So in this window, you can start typing whatever you want. So subject line, so it's a wall of gratitude. I'll say, let's say, thank you, Mr. Naik, for example. And I can add something over here. Say, thank you for sharing your experiences with me. It was very enlightening. So something to this effect. So this is a regular text post. So when I just hit publish, this particular post will come up like this. So after creating a post, I can go in and edit the post if I want to. Or there is also an option called transfer post. So transfer post is something where, let's say you have multiple Padlets. You can, when you click transfer post, you can transfer it to a new Padlet, or if there are other existing Padlets that you already have, you can select that Padlet and a copy of this will go and sit over there. So that is one. And the other option that you have is copy post. So copy post is essentially duplicating it. So if I hit copy to this Padlet itself, it will make a second copy of the same post. And then you also have an option called expand post. So expand post is actually useful when you are creating a longer post or when you are adding other visual elements to your post, because the actual Padlet window will only show a summary and you will have to expand it to see what else is there inside it. So I'm selecting this. Someone is not on mute. I've just muted him, no problem. So here again, so if you look at the other options that are available, so you can expand, and of course if you want to delete the post, you can just hit delete and the post will get deleted. So if you want to add additional elements to your post, you can definitely do that. So you have the option of uploading any asset. So let's say there's a photograph or a video or something that you like to upload, you can do. Or if you want to take a direct photo with your webcam, you just select this. A pop-up will come asking your browser to give permission. Just hit allow. Your camera will open. So you can just hit a selfie. There's a 3-second timer. And I just hit save. It gets added to my post. Like this. So you just have to hit update. Your post will now look like this. And you also, like since we added the social media thing, you can like the post, you can add a comment saying very true or something like that. So you can add comments like this. So anything that you want, you can do over here. And you can also add other types of assets. So just go to edit post. You can add links. So let's say that you are creating, let's say this is more of a knowledge sharing thing that you're doing. Suppose let's say you are researching on a particular topic and you are doing your research and you find a link that has a lot of good information on it. You can just select link. You can paste that particular link over here and post it. That is one way. And the other option that you have is an image search. So you can do a Google image search. You can do GIF. You can search for YouTube, Spotify, or do a direct web search. Let's say I'm looking for a sailor image. Going for images. Okay, I'm just selecting this one. So this image has come up now. So I just hit update. The post will look like this. So you can do a lot of things over here. You can add a lot of different types of media. Suppose let's say you have selected you have got a picture and you don't want it or you want to replace it. You just select remove. So there's a remove button at the bottom. You just click that, it will go away. And if you select the 3 dots over here, you will get a lot of other options that are available in Padlet. So we already saw upload, we saw camera. We also have the ability to record a video. You can use your webcam, record a selfie video with like a short message. The same way the selfie camera opened, the video recorder will also open. So you can just hit record, say whatever message you have, hit stop. That video gets posted to your Padlet. You can also record audio messages. Just hit audio recorder and your mic will be activated. You can say whatever you want to say in that message and hit save. It will get recorded as an audio file. If you want to share information about a particular location, so let's say that you're talking about, let's say an evolutionary topic, something on evolution and things like that, and you're talking about different parts of the world, you can select a location and share that. You can do custom drawings like how we saw in the background. You can do custom drawings, or you can attach a full Padlet itself over here. So there are a lot of options. So you can take YouTube links, you can put Spotify links. So suppose you find an interesting podcast episode on Spotify that you want to share. You just have to select Spotify, put that episode. It will get embedded similarly. So this is how you can add additional media to your Padlets to make it very, very interesting. So I'm just discarding this. So you can see that when a person comes to a Padlet and when they see that a lot of people are posting stuff. You can go in and comment, you can like posts and a lot of things. So this makes the learning experience very, very engaging. So this is called social learning, where we incorporate the engaging aspects of social media into the learning experience. So rather than sitting in a Zoom meeting and going into a breakout room, having a discussion and things like that, that is restricted to the session. Here we are taking learning outside the classroom. So you just find some interesting article that's related to your subject matter. You just click share, put it on your Padlet. Someone will comment on it, or someone will say, okay, this is interesting. I also saw something else that is of interest. So this becomes a compendium of knowledge for all your participants. And that's what makes Padlet a very, very interesting tool, because this comes along with you. All you need to do is carry that link with you wherever you are, on whichever device you are. You just select that link, this Padlet opens. So because one of the things that we typically do is when we go for this kind of knowledge sharing session, we typically do it on WhatsApp or some other messaging service. We share a link, and about after 30-40 messages have gone by, we'll have to go and search for that link. Whereas here, it's a very visual way of putting all the content and very, very engaging for your learners. So this is how a wall template is created. And I think Mr. Jagdish Munia, you raised your hand. You have a question?
Sir, the Padlet size should be below 20 MB. Otherwise, it will be problem.
Each media should be 20 MB. Like this file can be up to 20 MB. This can be up to 20 MB. It's not the total size. Up to 20 MB. See, the advantage of doing a live. So this is where, rather than you recording something and posting it, if you record it live on Padlet itself, the file size gets optimized because your web camera is not of very high resolution. So the video that is recorded by it will be of lower resolution. So you are able to share things on Padlet if you do a direct recording on the fly. So it's only the 20 MB restriction is per post, not per user.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so any questions on this wall template? Okay, take that as a no. We'll go to the next one. So I'm just coming out, just selecting this Padlet button over here. So I come back to the home screen. So we again go make a Padlet. So we will look at the second type of Padlet. So second is called a stream Padlet, and a stream Padlet is something which looks very, very similar to the social media experience that we typically have in Twitter or in Facebook. So what will happen is it will create a stream of posts. So in the first one wall, you saw that they were placed one after the other, like how you would place bricks on a wall, right? So stream is where the information is going to stream. So I'm not changing any of these sessions. We'll just go with the default, because whatever is on the right side it will be the same for all types of Padlets that you're going to create. So I'm just going to hit next, and the Padlet is now ready. So when I create a post, again, creating a post is going to be the same process. So you just select, give a title, and you give the body. So you just do that, hit publish. So here, what will happen is, if you look at it, it looks like a message, like how you would see in a WhatsApp message or in a social media post and things like that. So you get to start posting additional things. So you just keep posting. It will come like this. So your post will start moving, and there will be a scrolling kind of a thing. And again, the same features that we saw applies over here. You can edit, transfer, copy, expand, or delete your post. So this is for if you want to create a more of a social media kind of a look and feel for your audience, where they would like to see information that is similar to a Twitter feed. You can use this particular template. It's very useful in that aspect. Okay. And going back, I'll create one more Padlet. So the third is your grid Padlet. So a grid Padlet is where it is similar to a brick one, but the only thing is it is arranged in the form of grids. So I'm just selecting all of this and keeping it as default. So here, when I start adding post, just publish this. I'm going to make copies of this. So here, it will become like grid. So where we use this particular grid is where you have columns created in the form of grids, and this will actually have a much more disciplined approach to the way content is posted, because in the earlier one we saw that the posts were like sort of fitting into each other. Suppose there's a long post and there's a short post next to it, they sort of fit in like bricks. That's what we saw on the wall. But here what will happen is it will stay in its grid. So let's say that there's a first row, and let's say one of the posts is very, very long. The second row will begin only at the end of the longer one. So all this will be left as gaps. So this is how a grid approach looks like. So this is actually if you want to use grid versus wall, it's essentially a personal preference. Suppose you don't want posts interlocking and you just want clean rows, one after the other, row 1, row 2, row 3, kind of a visual feel, you can go with the grid approach. Otherwise, there are no other major differences between using a wall versus a grid. So this is how the grid Padlet looks like. So I'm again going back to the home one. I'm just deleting these Padlets because we have already created 3. I'm just deleting the old ones. 4192. Yeah. So Padlets, again, when it comes to deleting your Padlets, you'll have to do it one at a time, because this is essentially a safety feature to ensure that we don't delete any of our Padlets accidentally. So we create a new Padlet now. We will go into the shelf type. So a shelf type Padlet is where you have defined columns. So when you say defined column, what essentially happens is we typically use the shelf Padlet for giving live classroom activities. So let's say that we have a session happening, be it online or offline, and there are 2 or 3 questions that you want your learners to think about and come with answers before you actually go into the topic. So there what you do is you post these 3 questions on the top and they become individual shelves, right? So when they become individual shelves, the learner will be able to go and post under each of these individual shelves. So it will be like you have shelf number 1, which will have the main question that you have created, and the responses will be under that. Then shelf number 2 will have your next main question. Below that, your learners would have responded to that. So that is how you create a shelf kind of an approach, where you will be able to collate your learners' response into different types, into different categories, essentially. So that is how it looks. But from a visual perspective, to create that Padlet, everything else looks the same. You just have to do it similar to that. So here, when you come into this, you see name of the first section. Say I have question number 1. Question 1. And I save that. Then it's a question 2. Sorry. Question 2. So now when you have this and you give it to your audience, they will be able to add things below that. So just plus, I say response 1. Response to question 1. I just hit publish. It gets posted like this. So this is how you can classify. So once your learners have answered the questions, you can go back to this particular Padlet and you can scroll and review the responses to question 1, debrief, then you go into question 2, go through the responses and debrief. So this is essentially you are creating shelves for your different questions and get answers from your learners. So this again, you can use it in a live session. or you can use this for giving assignments. So let's say that a class is completed and you want you have 2 or 3 areas that you want your learners to go do their research and come up with answers before the next session. You can create a Padlet like this, give the link to them so they can go do their research, learn, and come back and present the Padlets to you. And the advantage with using a Padlet for this particular purpose is, one, you have your answers collated in one area, which is good. And number two, since this is a live platform, as and when your learners are posting answers, you will have the opportunity to review them ahead of your session. So you kind of get a pulse for where exactly your learners are going with their answers. And suppose if you feel that they are off tangent in terms of understanding the concept, you can quickly intervene and sort of clarify things so that you are able to guide your learners in the right direction and get them prepared for what is about to come in their learning sessions.
There one small question.
Yes, sir.
When the response comes for the question we have asked, no, answers will come. So it will like WhatsApp message. It will indicate from whom it is.
Yes, you can add that option. See, that's where. See, if you go into your settings.
Who is answering? How we will know that?
Yes, sir. So same way, you will have to go into your settings like this. 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. So in the settings, you just have to turn on attribution. So when you turn on attribution, the name will pop up over here. Like this.
Okay.
If you want to keep it anonymous, you can turn it off. If you want to know who is answering it, you can turn this on.
Okay.
So this particular option has been, sorry?
By seeing the benefit it is giving, it is just like, I feel that it is an online homework book, like,
It can be a homework book as well as a class activity book. So when you are conducting a class, you can get people to respond immediately and sort of give their thoughts.
Yes. Otherwise, we can give a task and ask them to do it, and then we can go and check it.
Exactly. See, suppose, let's say that I'll give you one example, sir. So let's say that there is an activity that you want to conduct. You are in a Zoom session. Let's say you want to conduct an activity for your audience, but you feel that you want your audience to work on that individually. Right. For example, you were part of my session where I was doing voice training. Right. So, suppose when I give an exercise,
Vishal, please mute.
Vishal, please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So let's say that you were part of my voice culture session. So there, let's say I'm giving a particular voice exercise and I want you to practice. So there is no point in putting you in a breakout room in Zoom because it is not a group activity, it's an individual activity. So what I will do in that situation is I will create a Padlet like this and I will give that Padlet to you where you can go and record whatever practice that you have done as a small audio clip and post it over there. So we can review it either during the class or after the class, and I can give you feedback as a comment, or I can talk to you separately and get it resolved. So it can be a classwork as well as a homework tool.
And suggestion book also.
Yes, and there is actually one more aspect that I would like to talk about, which is going to show how Padlet can be used as a collaborative tool also. So that is another very powerful aspect that is there in Padlet. So I will just cancel this. Yeah, discard. Go back to Padlet. So I will talk about the collaborative aspect because that is very interesting. So I will select for the collaborative aspect, we'll have to select the canvas option. So I'll come to the map option later. I'll show you the canvas option because it's something that's very, very useful for group activities. So what's happening here is a canvas is where you can create posts that are fluid in nature. So because all the while we saw that when you create a post sort of goes and sticks in a particular place. Either it stacks up like bricks, or it is arranged into grids, or it is put into columns and shelves that we saw. But in a canvas, you have the ability to move things around. So I'll just show you how that works. So again, all the settings are going to be the same. The way you set up your Padlet, you can do similar to this. But I'll show you a couple of very interesting things in this particular Padlet. So here I go and add a post. Let's say I want post 1. I have a great idea. So I've created a post. So now this post will float around. Okay. Then what you can do is I have say addition or my thoughts. I think I have a contribution to enhance this, something to this effect. Let's say I'm creating a post like this. So here you can have your group of people post things like whatever material that they find, they can post. So I'm just creating a copy so that we get to see what else we can do. So now you have all your team members post all their ideas over here. Then you can use this to do a brainstorming activity where you can go and start linking things. So let's say I have 2 posts over here. So I click these 3 dots. You have an option called connect a post. So this is available only in this particular option, Canvas. So when I select this, it will ask me to which post you want to connect to. Like suppose I say this one, it will draw a line and connect. So you can use this for brainstorming and to collect ideas, and you can move this around. That connection will not go. Suppose like we say we have made a couple of connections and you want to move things around in the screen. Let's say I want to connect to this one, right? So let's say that some more ideas have come and I want to move things around. You can still move things around. The connections will not break. So you can add more things, you can make connections, and this will help you to brainstorm and come up with a cohesive idea or a cohesive concept that you can go and present as a group for yourself. So this is a very interesting tool, and this can again be done on the move. Let's say that you have, so this is in a classroom scenario. Let's say you have been given a homework for your group. So whenever you get a new idea, all you'll have to do is just post those ideas over here. Just everyone keeps dumping their ideas over here. Then you have a quick 30-minute session. You go through all of the posts, you come, you have a quick 30-minute session, draw these links, join the concepts, create a cohesive idea that you want to present, and be done with it.
This can be used for mind mapping also, no?
Yeah, you can convert this into a mind map, absolutely.
Okay.
So you can use this for mind mapping, you can use this for brainstorming, whatever activity you want to do, you can do with this. So this is another very powerful feature that is available, and it's also like visually friendly, and you can add media. Let's say that I found a video which is relevant to that particular idea. So I just go add that link to a video. Let's say there's a YouTube video and I'm just looking for a random video. Let's say I want this particular one. So I'm just saying sailor. Sharing an interesting video to brainstorm. Just hit publish. That will come over here. So you can expand the post to see that video. I think that video is not showing up for some reason. I'm just going and editing the post. Okay, YouTube. Yeah, now it's coming. Update. So let's say that this is an interesting video that I have. I just select, connect this post to this. So you can select multiple. See, the thing with mind mapping applications is you will be able to post only text. Here you can post graphics, you can post videos, you can record a selfie video of some of the thoughts that you want to articulate, post that video over here, create links and all of that. It's a very, very dynamic and a very flexible tool. So that's one additional advantage that you have using this Canvas tool for collaboration. Any questions on this?
Can we use this Padlet into a PowerPoint presentation slide?
You can
We do like Canvas, we did it. We are reconnected all wherever the points are there with the graphics and things and post it in the presentation slide and it comes out. Is it possible?
export your Padlet and get that image and put it on your PowerPoint. You can absolutely do it.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So you just have to go export it, and that export will come as an image. Just import that into PowerPoint. That's it.
Super.
So when you are doing a class, that's actually a very good idea, like you said. So when you do all this activity on a Padlet, you export that image, put it on your PowerPoint, and showcase it as your group activity. So this is what we did, and this is our conclusion. That's a very good way of doing it. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll again go out from here. So I'm just leaving this page. So we come back to Padlet. So I'm going to make a new Padlet here. We'll select a map Padlet. So a map Padlet is something that we typically use for creating activities that are oriented to travel, history, culture, evolution, and things like that. So suppose you are making a presentation in that aspect. You can select the map template over here and give this as an assignment to your people. So let's say that I am selecting India. Okay, so I'm just going here. 1 second. Yeah. So here there are a few additional things that you can do in the map template. So map template, you also get to define the style of the map. So this is the first one is something that we normally see in Google Maps, a silver map. If you want a black background, a medieval kind of a map, it will look a little different like this. If you want a street map, or if you want a more modern kind of a map, this is how your flight maps look like. Something that's different. So you have if you want a satellite image will come up. If you want a more of an artistic kind of a thing, you can again do that over here. So you can select whichever map style best suits you, and you can go in and give this as an activity. So here what will happen is, just I think this is saving. Yeah. So here when I go in and create a post, it will ask the location. So it will ask, let's say I'm selecting Mumbai. So what will happen is it will drop a pin for Mumbai and say, I love their street food. So it adds a pin like this. So you can zoom out. So it's like how you normally zoom out and zoom in Google Maps. You just have to scroll. It will zoom in and zoom out. I think it's taking a little bit of time to load because of the complexity of the map. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to give this to your people, and let's say that it's something like a know your country kind of an activity. You can give an assignment saying identify one city that's your favorite and tell what you really like about that city or something like that. And we typically use this to, in my sessions at least, I use this Padlet as a sort of a icebreaker activity where I'll tell them, okay, so suppose I have a global audience, I'll tell them, tell where you are from and what is special about your place. So we get a kind of an interactivity where people start posting where they are from and what is the speciality of that place, and it's sort of a nice conversation and a nice icebreaker to have. And you will have this Padlet filling up with all pins like this, and you can click each pin and see what people have said. And it's a nice way of starting your session. So rather than doing a traditional icebreaker activity, and if you have time and you really want to engage that audience, and if it's a long-term program kind of a thing, you can do a fun activity like this. So from a trainer perspective, you can use it as an icebreaker, but from a subject matter perspective, you can use it for any travel or any cultural thing, webinar that you're doing, or anything related to history. You can use this particular type of Padlet for those kind of sessions. So any questions on this map?
can we have a map in this where we have, suppose India, we take it out.
Mhm.
I am presenting a pan-India operation.
Mhm.
I want to put individual state or a district based on the potential and the business.
Mhm.
That sort of a map is available in this.
Absolutely, you can definitely do that. In fact, what you can do is, let's say you have a pan India operation and you have offices in say about 7 or 8 cities, right? You can add those pins as a creator to the city and give that as an activity to them, saying, okay, we've got 7 offices in the city. You go into each and tell what exactly is the core vertical that is operating in that particular business unit. You can do that. This can be a quiz also.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, this is only the activity example that I'm giving is only like scratching the surface. What you can do with it is really up to your creativity. You can flex this to any extent you want.
Fantastic. Thank you. Super.
One more doubt, sir.
Yes.
Earlier one, that mind mapping type, we
Uh-huh.
create that one, and can we transfer that to this map, this one?
You mean to say, let me just open
I
that.
create a mind mapping, this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I transfer this to the map, this one?
Yeah. So there you'll have to select the Padlet itself and then select this one. So that Padlet gets imported and you publish it.
What I'm trying to do is, then after putting there, I can move this to the different country, showing the activity.
Yeah. See, suppose let's say I want to move this particular one to a different Padlet. So all I have to do is just transfer post to this Padlet. So when I click that, go to Padlet, it will come to this particular Padlet with that post. So you can move this around or whatever you want to do, you can do. So I've just transferred a copy of that post over here.
Okay.
You can do that. If you have multiple Padlets and you want to transfer post from one Padlet to the other, you can definitely do that, and this is how it's done. Okay, any other questions before we go into the last type of the Padlet? Okay, we go to the last type. I think I'll have to delete some Padlets here. 0407. Oops, sorry. Delete this one. So I'm going to make a Padlet. So we are looking at the last type of Padlet, which is called a timeline Padlet. So timeline Padlet is a Padlet which helps you to create a sequence of events. So you can use this from a history perspective to chalk out events. You can use it from a process perspective. So suppose there is a process and you want to test your learners on their understanding of the process, you can give this Padlet to them. Just give the high level points and ask them to expand on it. I mean, it's basically a linear sequence of events. So wherever in your training program you feel that there is scope for giving an activity that involves identifying a linear sequence of events, you can use this particular Padlet. So I'm just giving next because the other settings are all the same. So all you'll have to do is you'll have a plus symbol over here. So when you have to, either you can select this plus symbol or you can select the plus symbol over here. Either one works. So let's say activity 1. This is the first step. So it gets posted like this. So again, you have the freedom of adding any additional types of media that you want. You can add a text or a video. Suppose you want to make a timeline where you actually talk about something and if you explain it step by step by adding an image and things like that, you can do whatever you want over here. So this is step 2. Step 2 goes here. So it just keeps adding the steps. So this is again a very, very simple and straightforward type of Padlet where you can use it for customizing a linear approach or a linear sequence of events and converting that into an activity for your learners. So any questions on this timeline?
Yes, you can use it, to create a slide.
A slide in the sense.
And now what you have put, is activity 1 and step 2.
Mhm.
Same way as we see in slides, so many 5-6 boxes in this one, and we can put whatever we want to put there to show them in sequence.
Absolutely, you can. See, suppose let's say you have a slide deck from where you want to take a particular slide about step 2. You can export that slide into an image, add that image over here. That's it. You can definitely do that. See, the advantage with Padlet is it accepts so many types of media. Whether you want to have something that's pre-done, pre-recorded and upload, or whether you want to do something on the spot live, it supports everything. So the advantage with something like this is the reason why I actually wanted to talk about Padlet today is this is a very less new tool. I don't see many people using Padlet. It's a very, very simple tool. I mean, if you look at it, to set up a Padlet, it will hardly take you 5-10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes. But the kind of experience that you will be able to give to your learners will be tremendous. It will be very, very engaging. It will be very, very useful for them. And the best part is the ability to export something. So if they have created something, they will still have a copy of their creation with them that they can go back and reflect upon even after your training session is done. So this is at a very high level of what is a Padlet, what are some of the things that Padlets can do, and the different types of Padlets. So we have another 15 minutes remaining. So if you have any questions or if you'd like to get anything clarified, the floor is open. Please go ahead and ask your questions.
This is all about the Padlets, huh?
Yes, sir. It's a very, very simple, very straightforward tool.
So six, this one.
7
Padlet,
types. These are 7 types. Yes.
7 types for different purposes.
Exactly.
And side this one plan. Setting the Padlet system is same for all the.
Yes, except for the map one, because the map you will have to go and select the type of map, you have to select the location and things like that. But apart from that, the setup for all of the other types of Padlets are the same.
Anyway, that this one setting up is also self-explanatory on the right side of the panel.
Absolutely. See, the objective, one of the key objectives of this Coffee with Vythee session is I'll be teaching and introducing tools that are very, very simple to adopt. Yes. They will not be complicated. They are very, very simple tools. In fact, I don't remember who asked me. So all of them are, I think one of you asked me how complex the tools will be. So I told them that when I was teaching PowerPoint, I told them PowerPoint is the most complex tool compared to the tools that I'll be handling as part of these sessions. There are so many brain tools, very, very simple, very, very intuitive, and very, very engaging tools that are available. So the objective of this is to introduce these tools to everyone. And I want all of you to start using tools like this and make your learning programs very, very engaging for your audience.
This seems to be very, very simple.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, how can we see the others work in Padlet?
Sorry?
How can we see others work in Padlet? Can we see others work?
Yes, sir. You can search Padlets. So here, let's say I want to, because I don't know how many public Padlets will be available, because Padlets are typically created in private so that they are able to use it for their own classroom and for their own purpose. But you can do a search for Padlets and you will be able to find a lot of information over there. I have actually taken already 3. Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Vythee, Rajiv here.
Yes, sir.
I just go through this palette based on your today input, a hands-on one. In case any doubts or clarified, can I ping you personally?
Absolutely, you can definitely ping me, and there is also a WhatsApp group that is available for this particular community. It's called Copy Community. So you can join that group. You can post your questions over there, and I will answer. Because one of the reasons why this group is created is because you will have a question that many other people might have, but they might not be asking. So I want to make sure that that particular group acts as a repository for all of us to share, ask questions. And if you have a tool that you find that you would like me to talk about in one of these sessions, you can let me know. I will go ahead and talk about it.
Sure, but add me in that group, please.
Yeah. I will definitely do that, because I have got registrations for this session, and I've also some people have indicated that they wanted to be part of the group. So at the end of this session, I will go ahead, look at that list. So whoever has asked to be part of the group, I will go ahead and add you all to those groups.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And as always, anytime you have any questions on any of this, you can just feel free to message. I'll be more than happy to take and answer those questions.
Sure. Done.
Yeah. And also, like I had explained in my introductory video, this session is recorded. And for all the attendees, you will get a copy of this recording. So you can definitely have a look at this recording for future reference. If you end up using Padlet like about 2-3 months down the line and you want to have a quick reference, you can come back to this video and have a look at it as well.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
I could not completely assess.
Mhm.
I will check. I will go through the recording.
Absolutely, sir. Please go through the recording. It's a very simple tool. If you still have any questions, you have my number. Please feel free to reach me anytime.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And
Sure.
once again, happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So can I
happy
ask a
returns of the
question?
day. I didn't knew this.
Thank you,
Happy birthday,
Vythee.
sir.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday. Happy
Hello.
weekend. Rajiv,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, Anil, tell me.
Happy birthday. I had appointment with doctor today. Kept me waiting now.
Mhm. Anil sir, I think your line is breaking off a little bit for me.
I'm in hospital. I put my thing on, but I will see the recording. And
Absolutely.
God to
Sure,
wish you
sure,
happy
sir.
birthday.
Sure,
Wish
sure,
you
sir.
happy
Sure.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
sir. Thanks a lot. Okay.
So I have a doubt out
Yes.
of this Padlet. So could you stop your recording, sir? I don't
Okay.
want that to come into this.
Okay. So I just want to, before we go into that, any other questions from anyone on Padlet? Okay. So I take that as a no. So this means that we have officially come to the end of today's session. So thanks a lot for joining in. And thank you for being part of the community. I will share the details of the next session very, very shortly, the date and the next interesting tool that we are going to talk about. So thank you all for once again being there. I will be online after this. If you have any questions or if you would like to just talk to me, I will be online for some more time. So we can definitely continue the conversation. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you,
can
sir.
I?